she believes that she's got it all. She swears the moon don't hang quite as high as it used to, and she only sleeps when it's raining, and she screams and her voice is straining. She says, baby, when it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. Well, when she says, baby, yeah, well, I can't help but be scared of it all. Sometimes the rain's gonna wash away, I believe this. She believes that life isn't made up of all that she used to. And the clock on the wall has been stuck at 3 for days and days. She thinks that happiness is a map that sits on her doorway. But outside, it stopped raining. Well, it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. Yeah, when she says, baby, yeah, well, I can't help but be scared of it all. Sometimes the rain's gonna wash away, I believe this. When it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. Well, yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would kindly take your seats, we're about to get underway. Good afternoon and welcome to the second and final business session of the 100th Annual Optimist International Convention. Please remember to silence all electronic devices or there could be a fine for the foundation in the offing. And now please welcome Optimist International President Nick Perliman.
Bonjour, good afternoon. We have a full schedule this afternoon, so let's get started. We're Optimist Strong. One quick announcement, if you are a voting delegate and have not already done so, please move to the designated seating area for delegates towards the front of the room. We should all be proud of our dedicated professional staff at the International Office in St. Louis and the Canadian Service Center in Montreal. Overseeing our day-to-day operations is a man who wears many hats very well, including serving as our Chief Operating Officer, Corporate Secretary, and Field Marshal for the Growth Surge. Please join me in welcoming the all-knowing, all-seeing Executive Director, Benny Ellerby.
Wow thing. I had nothing to do with that. Good morning, good afternoon, Optimists. All right, I'm going to start off slow. You know, I'm always high energy, but I do want to stop for a moment of silence. Executive Director Jacques Pallon and his family are in need of prayers and thoughts. So please join me for a moment of silence for our dear friend Jacques Pallon. Thank you, Optimist. I know Jacques is thinking of us. I know Jacques has been watching our streaming, and I know his heart is here with us in this auditorium today. You know, for 8 straight years, we've had surplus budgets, and I'm very proud of our financial staff and the work of the Audit and Finance Committee and the people who work together to make your money go the furthest and to be good stewards of your dues and your monies. Please let me ask the Audit and Finance Committee led by Guy Templeman, please stand. Come on, Guy, give him a hand. 8 straight years of surpluses. Our pension committee also, led by Mark Katz, also works very hard and very diligently to protect the pension. It wasn't just a few years ago the pension fund was grossly underfunded. Today, I can tell you the pension fund is overfunded by over $600,000. I'm a blessed man. We have a wonderful staff of professionals that serve you. They're loving, they're caring, they give so much of their time, their effort. They're talented people. The staff in Montreal, the staff in St. Louis, they love you, they work for you, and they care. We are served by the best. They only give me about 5 minutes, so I have to be pretty quick today. But you know, membership. Wow! 77 new clubs, and we stand today at the best position we've been in over 20 years in membership. President Nick and the VPs and the governors, unbelievable the work, the commitment, and the focus they have. And we will be growth this year on September 30th. You can put it in the bank. So let me give a shout out to some folks that are in the trenches. He was the MC this morning at the Old-Timers Breakfast, the number 5 governor from Central Ontario, Tony Edge. Tony. You know, I got to be the OI rep last year, the OI representative for the Southwest Ontario District, and Tracy Huxley she was smoking. And the little chaplain, Mary Lou Abrams, I'm thinking, God, Mary Lou, what have you got yourself into? But Mary Lou right now is plus 80, and she is distinguished. She was a pace setter yesterday. Mary Lou, Southwest Ontario, number 4. Pacific Southwest, led by Governor Melissa Cohen. Congratulations on a wonderful year. And she will be distinguished this year as the year ends. And our friends from the Caribbean. 3 times they have been distinguished in a row. It was time for a let-up. But Calvin Hunter said, no, no, no. Number 2 district of all Optimist International, Calvin Hunter and the Caribbean District. And the guy in the red sport coat, the number 1 district governor from Ohio, please recognize Tom Kendo. And I'd be remiss for not recognizing the number 1 vice president from the Great Lakes, Northeast District. Please recognize Bob McFadden. Bob's like plus 300 or something. Bob is having an unbelievable year. So I'm going to do some highlights real quick. 1,020 delegates here in Ottawa. Over 2,000 branding kits have been sent out to our clubs this year to brand our identity in a better way for Optimists for the future. 679 kids, junior golfers, are signed up for the PGA for our tournament at the end of this month. 697 outstanding youth. Over $8,000 was directly provided to our clubs in disaster zones. We've built clubs in more new countries than ever before. China, Nepal, Haiti. We continue to grow internationally. Jim Boyd, thank you for those efforts. And yes, we own an oil well in Texas. Don't know if you knew that or not. But I got to do a shout out to Paul Lucas, who pointed it out that we had some property there. We own some mineral rights. And this year that oil well has produced just under $80,000 income for our efforts and our goals. Never knew I was in the oil business. Last weekend we hosted our 3rd annual World Oratorical Program in St. Louis University. What a fantastic program it is. But you know, without the funding of our foundations, of CCOF and OIF, we couldn't do programs like that. You know, we give $600,000 a year, every single year, to youth in our great countries for their scholarships. And it is all on behalf and the caring of our foundation. But you know, foundation is a two-way street. The funds and the monies for the foundation have to come from us. And I like win-win situations, so I want to do something maybe a little different today. I want to recognize two great leaders of our organization, but also help the foundation while I'm doing that. And so, you know, when you kind of figure those things out, what can you do to recognize and then help foundation? Yeah, you give money to the foundation in their name. So I'd like every past governor, we've been conspiring here lately. I got to tell you, this has been a big secret. Every past governor of the Gateway District to stand up, please. Every past governor of the Gateway District. Keep standing. All right. I need every past governor of the Swiss District to please stand up. Come on, Swiss. Together, these two districts have raised over $3,000. The goal was $2,000. Together, they've raised over $3,000 to recognize two outstanding leaders from their districts with Christian Larson Awards. So the president, let me get Sandy and Craig out here. Sandy and Craig, will you come out here and join me, please? And that's Jim. So, this is not in anybody's script but mine. I don't really have a script. I got a napkin up here. So with that said, we wish to recognize two of our leaders with Christian Larson Awards. Please, would Jim Kondrasik and Nick Perlman come on stage? All right, congratulations. And Nick, did you know anything about this? Did guys in Gateway let you know about this? Nope. Oh, good. Thanks, Gateway. I know he didn't know. So I'm not putting any pressure on Iowa or the Caribbean, so, you know, take nothing from that. So I hear also the foundation has something else they want to tell us today, so I'm going to turn the podium over to the foundation.
You have just witnessed Benny Ellerby that I get to see about 250 days a year. He's just a Louisiana Energizer bunny. Where's President Nick? The Canadian Children's Foundation and us have been very supportive of all the programs. It's a great partnership between all three organizations. Last week, we held our World Oratorical Contest, and there were some outstanding regional winners, as well as first, second, and third, hailing from the great districts of Pacific Southeast was second place, third place was from Kansas, and first place was from South Carolina. Those awards had not fully been funded for this year. OI and we had struggled to get full funding. President Nick, on behalf of the Optimist International Foundation, we would like to fully fund as a gift to you and your team this year for the start of the centennial, first, second, and third place World Oratorical scholarships.
Thank you. Appreciate it so much.
And President-designate Becky and President-elect Adrian, we will work very hard into the future, and for all other future presidents, we will be working with CCOF and OI to fully fund World Oratorical for a long time. Thank you.
Wow. That's neat. You know, it's a wonderful partnership, and working with Craig and with the foundation board is always it's an honor. And working with you is an honor. And the love I get, and I tell everybody, I work for the greatest people in the world. They're called Optimists. They truly are wonderful, caring, loving people. I'm gonna make one comment today that this is kind of off script, but you know, the Creed was written by Christian Larson. The Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. We have no right to change the smile on the Mona Lisa, and we have no right to change the words of Christian Larson. So I've never been at the pro mic, but I think I was just at the pro mic. It's an honor to serve you. God bless you. God bless me, and God bless Optimist International. Thank you so much.
A slate of candidates for the positions of President-elect and Vice President-elect for the 2019-2020 year was approved in May. Let's take a moment now and meet these future leaders of Optimist International. For the Northeast Great Lakes region, Vice President-elect Terry Davis of New York, New England. For the Southeast region, Russ Thomas from the Gateway District. David Bowman and Pam will be from Maryland South, Delaware, the Vice President for the Mid-Atlantic region. The Vice President for the Mid-America region is Dwight Pollard, who is not with us today. For the Southwest region, Don Krall from the Oklahoma District. The Great Plains region Vice President will be Lyle Marion, and he'll be helped by Debbie throughout his year. They're from the Alberta, Montana, Saskatchewan, and Northern Wyoming District. For the West Coast region, it's Mike Padilla from Pacific Southeast. There's Dwight Pollard. The Vice President for the St. Lawrence region will be Natalie Boulay with help from Christian. They're from Quebec West. And the 2019-2020 International President-elect, Adrian Alcott, with the help of Ann, from the Caribbean District. Ladies and gentlemen, the President-elect and Vice Presidents-elect of Optimist International for 2019-2020.
We have some business to take care of this afternoon. Mainly, this discussion is mainly voting on the proposed amendments to our bylaws. But first, we need to hear an updated report from our Credentials Committee by Chair Karen Monville.
Thank you, Mr. President. In accordance with Article 4 of the bylaws and Rule 5 of the Convention Rules, the committee wishes to amend its report. At this time, 393 Optimist clubs are qualified to cast 1,482 votes and 561 delegates have been accredited. That concludes our report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Karen. We will now hear a report on the proposed amendments to the bylaws from the Chair of the International Governance Committee, Steffi Swanson.
Where's my walk-up music? I'm upset. Thank you, Mr. President. Before I present the proposed amendments, I would like to review the voting procedure that you adopted in the rules. Any Optimist Club member may speak at the microphones marked either pro or con, but only accredited delegates may make a motion or second a motion or cast a ballot. When speaking at the microphone, you must state your name and your club name or number for the record. Each side will be limited to five speakers on a particular issue, and no speaker may speak for more than 2 minutes. Mr. President, as chair of the convention, the president, as chair of the convention, may determine the method of voting on each issue. In the event of a ballot vote, the chair has appointed the members of the Credentials and the Governance Committee to serve as vote counters. The voting will be done by raising your orange voting cards. However, if the vote on any other issue is too close to call, in the discretion of the chair, he may require a ballot vote on that issue. For the delegates wishing to hear the discussion in French, a reminder that headsets are available for simultaneous interpretation. Vice President Robert Doyle will interpret the remarks of any French-speaking members into English for the benefit of the English-speaking delegates. Our parliamentarian, past International President Bob Garner, is also present. Mr. President?
Thank you, Stephanie. Once again, we will be using the orange voting card on all the issues. As Stephanie indicated, to allow equal time for both views and to move things along, each speaker will be given a limit to 2 minutes to speak on an issue, and each side of an issue will be limited to 5 speakers. Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Madam Chairman, please proceed with your report.
The complete wording for the proposed changes and an explanation of the rationale for the changes has been printed and was given to you at the credentials desk. As stated in our bylaws, only the Optimist International Board of Directors and member Optimist clubs in good standing may propose amendments. The Governance Committee is required to bring all properly submitted amendment proposals to the delegates. Proposed amendment number 1 has been submitted by the International Board of Directors. The proposal has to do with the Friends of Optimist membership class. Mr. President, I move this amendment on behalf of the International Board.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay. Those in favor of the amendment, please raise your voting cards and keep them up. Please lower them. Those opposed, raise your cards. Motion carries. Thank you. You may continue, Madam Chairwoman.
Proposal number 2 was also submitted by the International Board of Directors regarding the revocation of an Optimist membership. Mr. President, I move the adoption of the change in the bylaws.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor, raise your cards, please. Thank you. May you lower your cards? Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. You may continue, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Proposal number 3 was submitted by the Board of Directors. This proposal is offered to address non-members that may act on behalf of an Optimist club and put a club at risk, and Optimist International also at risk for potential litigation. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I move this amendment.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this issue? Okay. All those in favor, raise your cards, please. Please lower your cards. Those opposed, raise your cards. Motion passes. Thank you. You may continue, Stephanie.
Okay, thank you. The Fourth Amendment proposal concerns district officers' qualifications and is submitted by the International Board of Directors. Mr. President, I move the adoption of this amendment.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Y'all are making it easy. Thank you. All those in favor, raise your cards.
Oh.
Up. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry. I should
Bob
know my mouth.
McFadden, the Kitchener-West Optimist Club, club number 45932. I don't either. I'm not for or against this. I think this motion, this amendment is kind of useless. If you have a district in this much trouble of leadership, this is a board issue, not a bylaw issue. We have problems if we are going to have club presidents running for governors. That's the issue we have. That's a board issue. It is not a district issue or a bylaw issue.
Okay. Anyone else? Please have you raise your cards, please. If you're for this. If you're for the, lower your cards. If you're opposed, raise your cards. Motion passes. Thank you. You may continue, Madam Chairwoman.
All right, thank you. The Board of Directors is submitting the fifth proposed change to the bylaws concerning the terms of election for board members and officers. Mr. President, I move the adoption of this proposal.
Okay, the motion has been moved and seconded. First speaker at the con mic, please.
Mr. President, my name is Ron Huxley, member of the AuSable Port Franks Optimist Club 45170, also a member of the International Candidate Qualifications Committee. My comments are made with the deepest respect to the Board of Directors of Optimist International, but I would like to remind the delegates here it's their decision. We are living in an atmosphere right now where our leadership qualities and our leadership ability with the number of people has shrunk dramatically. Today's deliberations at the CQ level require that we are dealing with fewer and fewer names to be brought forward. By limiting the availability of somebody to step forward because they have been elected to a position is I think, senseless from the standpoint of view that many times we'll call somebody and ask them if they will stand, and due to family commitments, work commitments, and time commitments, or even age commitments, they're unavailable. To limit somebody to move forward because they're ready to move forward is the wrong thing to do. I would ask the delegates of this convention to see this as a restriction, and it also recognize the fact that this may be a knee-jerk reaction to finding a replacement. If you have to find a replacement, deal with that issue, but don't restrict the ability of somebody to move forward and advance. I vote no on this one.
Thank you. The second speaker at the con mic.
Danny Rogers, Breakfast Optimist Club of East Fort Worth, 38045. I rise today to speak in opposition to the proposed amendment. This amendment, if adopted, would deprive the organization of the opportunity to consider 4 specific individuals on a yearly basis for the offices of president and vice president. This, I think, is a mistake, and I ask you to vote no. The opportunity to be president is the highest, in my mind, opportunity and responsibility of the Candidate Qualifications Committee. They are charged with selecting the best candidate to put before the organization for election later in the year. They should not be restricted. The organization should not restrict itself as to who they can consider and who they can look to. Often, when we approach someone about the possibility of interviewing for that position, they disqualify themselves simply from the fact that their season of life does not allow that opportunity. The commitment as a board member is important, and it's for 3 years. When someone has the opportunity to move from a board member position into a president position, that opportunity, that obligation extends for 8 more years. The board is not deprived of the wisdom of that person. They simply change seats at the board. It gives the board an opportunity to select another highly experienced optimist to come in and fill in. New ideas are always good. I trust the wisdom of the person who says no, not now. I trust the wisdom of the Candidate Qualifications Committee to always seek the best possible person. I trust the wisdom of the organization to elect the best possible person. And I trust the wisdom of this body to vote no. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The third speaker, the con mic.
Bob McFadden, the Kitchener West Optimist Club, club number 45932, also Vice President, Northeast and Great Lakes region. I have 3 points on this. Number one, what is the purpose of bylaws and amendments, ladies and gentlemen? It is to set a direction and set parameters for an organization. It's not to provide a step-by-step process on how to run our organization. We are tying ourselves up in knots with these bylaw amendments and extending them to the point where we can't make any decisions. Where have we lost that leadership? Point number two, our leadership pool is dwindling drastically. In the past 28 years, we have lost over 60% of our membership. And consider the people that we have, how many of them are actually interested or go through the qualifications to reach these senior positions. We don't have a big enough leadership pool to continue restricting the opportunities of people that we have. And the third question, and I think Danny Rogers also said this, is why have we lost the faith in the ability of the membership to make and vote for the right decisions to run this organization? We are taking all of these decisions away from us as members. Fellow Optimists, if it is that difficult to find a replacement for a board member, just imagine how difficult it is to find a qualified and interested person to run for the presidency of this organization. I would please ask you to vote no on this amendment.
Thank you. The chair recognizes the speaker at the pro mic.
Ken Garner, Optimist Club, Breakfast East Fort Worth, 38045. Also as a member of the Candidate Qualifications Committee and as an individual who has served in this organization as both a three-year board member, as a president of this organization, there is a lot of value to this position. Please remove the individuals from the position and think of the structure of the organization. We have set this organization up that was set up fairly recent history, if you want to get back to it, to where a board position comes on and the whole concept is you have 6 individuals, 2 for a 3-year term, who agree to work together for the good of the whole community and to not be caught up in a presidential concept. They're there to serve the group as a whole, and they serve a 3-year term. It's a hard position for those who have never been in that. For that first year, you're trying to grasp everything. For the second year, you're kind of into it and going. By the third year, you are the senior member. And if we remove that position at any point in that place, it becomes a struggle. It becomes effort. And it becomes things that people have to work at to become better. And for somebody to come in and do it in a 1-year term, there's a struggle there to grasp what's catching up, to understand what's going on, and to basically sometimes stand up to people in a presidential position to say, this is what we've got to do. Yes, we are struggling with our leadership, but I don't challenge us to challenge the bylaws. I challenge us to challenge our people to build our leadership and build our organization, and if we can't do that, we're in trouble already, and that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes the 4th speaker at the con mic.
Mr. President, Theo Golding, Kingston, Jamaica, Optimist Club of Kingston. Speakers before me have spoken well on the subject. I must remind our membership that appointment to the board of directors is not a prison sentence. It's an opportunity to serve our organization. And if, in the wisdom of those who take the decision, you can serve us better at a higher office, so be it. This would be a retrograde step for us to pass this resolution. So I humbly suggest, members, just vote no.
Thank you. Okay. All those in favor of the amendment, raise your cards. Okay, lower your cards. All those opposed? Amendment fails. Thank you. You may continue, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. President, the sixth and final proposed amendment to the bylaws concerns the Optimist Creed, modifying one of the tenets of the creed. It is submitted by the Springfield Luncheon Optimist Club of Illinois. I move the adoption of this proposed amendment.
Thank you. The amendment has been proposed and seconded. May I have the first speaker at the con mic, please.
Daniel Fortin, membre du Club Optimist Montréal-Annecy, membre 50-030, membre depuis plus de 30 ans. Je pose la question, si demain on décidait de changer des mots dans les poèmes d'Émile Nelligan ou encore de changer des phrases dans M. Edgar Poe, un écrivain très reconnu, qu'est-ce qu'on dirait? Il y aurait une levée de bouclier contre ça.
So I've been a member for 30 years, and I ask this question. If we decided to change the words of poems of Émile Nelligan, or in English, Edward Allan Poe, how would people react to that?
Donc, je suis contre, on devrait garder tel qu'il est le credo.
Therefore, I'm against, and the creed should remain as it is.
Thank you.
Bonjour.
The chair recognizes the second speaker at the con mic.
Bonjour, je me présente, Manon Daigneault, membre du Club Optimiste Beauharnois-Maple-Grove. Je parle français, je suis très fière de parler français. Tu peux traduire à mesure, ça va être le fun.
I speak French, and I'm very proud to do so.
Depuis 20 ans, je récite le credo.
Excuse me, the speaker, I need your name and your club number.
Manon Daigneault, gouverneur du district centre du Québec, Beauharnois-Maple-Grove, 50048.
50048.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Depuis 20 ans, je récite le credo qui est le même pour tous les optimistes à travers le monde. Vous voulez changer une phrase à ce credo? Ma question est, est-ce que Optimist International va remplacer gratuitement le credo à tous les clubs? Car nous devons avoir le même credo et non un credo différent. Nous sommes des gens qui appartiennent au même groupe. Alors, je ne verrais pas pourquoi il y aurait deux credos différents. Et on ne peut pas demander au club d'investir 225 $ pour un credo. J'ai regardé pour mon district, ça coûterait 24 000 $ à tous les clubs avec l'échange américain pour changer un credo, tandis que celui-là, il est très bon. Alors, voici mon opinion. Merci.
I'm the she is the governor of the Quebec South District. She is a member for 20 years, and for during all those two decades, she's been reciting the creed, and it's the same for all optimists across the world, no matter what language it's been translated in. And what happens? Does that mean that clubs would have to replace their creed banners just for her district alone? That's at an expense of $24,000. And there's no reason really why we should incur that kind of an expense in this. And and if this passes, does it mean that OI is going to pay for that, assume those replacement costs?
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you. The chair recognizes the third speaker at the con mic.
Bonjour. Actually, I'm American. Angela Yates, Jackson Optimist Club, Jackson, Mississippi. 29095. I am a new optimist. I've been an optimist less than 3 years. I love our creed. I think all of us love our creed. It means so much to us. When I say friend, that means old friends, current friends, and friends I've yet to meet. So I don't see why we have to change the word just to be politically correct.
The chair recognizes the fourth speaker at the con mic.
Tim Hicks, Santa Paula, California, Club 14765. The one thing I'd like to point out, and was pointed out a few speakers ahead of me, is it's going to be expensive to change this. And what I've heard is there isn't any more felt being made to make new creeds. So I think we should just keep it the way it is. That's the creed that was accepted many years ago. We should stick with it. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes the fifth speaker at the con mic.
Bill Myers, Success Optimist Club of California, 41654. Probably echoing number 3, but as an optimist, I believe that every person is my friend.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor of the amendment, please raise your cards. Those opposed? I think the amendment is defeated. Thank you. Thank you. You may continue, Madam Chair.
Mr. President, that concludes the report of the Governance Committee on the proposed amendments to the bylaws. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you. Thank you, Steffi, and thanks to your committee for all your hard work. Okay. All right. See you later. Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And now I would like to welcome to the lectern immediate past International President Jim Kondrasik.
That music makes me feel right at home. Thank you, President Nick. It's my pleasure today to honor several of our top growth achievers during the 2016-17 year. Before I do, I want to thank everyone who recruited a member, helped retain a member, and was involved in building a new club last year. Several of our district governors led their districts to distinguished status. For doing so, they received their Distinguished Governor's Ring, which they're all wearing proudly. Right now, I would like you to join me in congratulating those outstanding optimists.
From the Caribbean District, Dave Wilson.
I have to go off script here for a minute. The script said that all of the governors had received their rings, which they did. But one of our governors had a difference between his ring and the finger when they actually got together. So, it's my pleasure to present this ring.
From the Capital Virginia District, Gail Headley. From Central Ontario, Jesse Rumble. From the Dakotas, Manitoba, and Minnesota District, Terry Gorman. From the South Carolina District, Jenny Ricker. From Southwest Ontario, Tracy Huxley. From the South Texas District, Carol Hodges. From the North Florida District, Sonny Kinchlow. And 2 governors are being presented this year with recognition for districts that attained honor status in the 2016-17 Optimist year. From the East Ontario District, Sue Poirier. And from Quebec South, Marcel Lavoie. Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished and honor governors from the 2016-17 Optimist year. There is one governor who is getting special recognition from President Kondrasik for additional growth achievements. Receiving the International President's recognition for the highest percentage of membership growth is Dave Wilson of the Caribbean. For the highest number of new clubs built, Dave Wilson of the Caribbean. And the district with the highest percentage of honor clubs, the Caribbean, and Dave Wilson. The question is, Dave, how are you going to fit that in your luggage? There is one other award being presented right now, and it is the Executive Director's Excellence in Leadership Award, going to Governor Lenore Cox of Louisiana. Now, one international vice president for 2016-17 has been honored for leadership. First, for having the most new clubs built in his region, it's flip-flop man Dan Rich from the Southeast region.
I have to go.
And he's got them on.
I have to go off script with this one also. Daniel Rich has kind of developed his own trademark, and no matter what kind of suit he wears or tux, he has matching flip-flops. And the other thing that Daniel did last year for his 4 distinguished governors, we typically give all the rings away here, but he asked if he could go to their respective conferences on his own dime to present the rings, which he did, which is above and beyond the call of duty.
And in addition to nice-looking flip-flops for having the highest percentage of membership growth in the most distinguished districts in a region, you guessed it, Dan Rich of the Southeast region. Ladies and gentlemen, the awards from President Kondrasik's year as President of Optimist International. Good luck trying to carry that off stage.
I don't really know how to thank this group of people for all they did last year, all you gave last year. You and the members of your districts are shining examples of leadership to be emulated throughout Optimist International. Let's give this outstanding group of Optimist leaders another round of applause so well deserved.
And now, please welcome the chair of the International Convention Committee, Joanne Gansky.
Hi, everybody. You having fun yet? Alrighty. Mr. President, I would like to announce that we had 1,022 attendees at this convention. And a little bit off script here, we have a President's Ball this evening, and it will be in where we had the Expo Hall. We had to move it because we had more attendees at that, which is a wonderful thing. And for the 30 people that have not exchanged their coupon ticket, you need to do that in the office today, room 221, one level down, I believe, and where the office is for Optimist International, because if you don't exchange your ticket for a table number, you will have to stand the entire ball and not eat. So please do that for the 30 people that have not done that yet, because we do have a table for you. I wanted to I have to tell you that I'm still amazed at how many of the people are involved in this planning and execution of this event. Over a dozen have been working for about a year and a half to make this 2018 International Convention a reality. You guys have no idea what goes on here, but I'm glad that you're all here to experience the fun. They have worked tirelessly to make this certain special event, logistics, and other areas to go smoothly during our time in Ottawa. These are the members of the Host Area Committee, chaired by Ann Donkers from Canada. Give her a big round of applause, thank you. As well as our convention committee member from the Northern Wisconsin and Wyndham District, Laurel Shermer. Thank you very much for that wonderful round of applause. And I have to tell you, behind the stage here are wonderful people, and they do a great production for you. So please give them a big round of applause. Another group of hardworking people are our Sergeant of Arms, and they don't always get the recognition that they deserve, and I do hope that you all take time to say thank you for their time. But Clement Jacques, Gaston Depeau, Jacques Gore, Ron Larrivee, Isabel McIntosh, Diane Napier, Dwight Phillips, and Elaine Savard are all our wonderful people. I also want to give our personal thanks to our professional staff who work behind the scenes, which I just mentioned, and all the volunteers that make us look good. Thanks to all of you. Our convention ambassadors in each of the districts do a great job of promoting the convention at their district meetings. Would all of the district convention ambassadors please stand and give them a round of applause? There's nothing like a little competition to make a job more fun. So we challenged the ambassadors to see who could get the most attendees here. At this time, I would like to ask President Perlman to join me on stage to present the Ambassador Awards.
For the highest percentage of club presidents-elect pre-registered, in this case, 11%, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Ronnie Dunn, who could not be with us this afternoon. The next award is for the highest percentage of clubs pre-registered from a district. With 64%, the award goes to Shirley Jarrett, the ambassador from the Caribbean District. And the third award is for the most people pre-registered from a district, 87. Again, Shirley Jarrett of the Caribbean District.
I hope everyone dropped off their raffle tickets at the expo hall. And the winner of Optimist raffle for free registration to Louisville next year is, ta-da, Michael Chiefs. And we have one complimentary convention registration to get to the 101st Optimist International Convention for running around and putting these little blue tickets, you know, that we pulled out for the raffle. And that happens to go to Doug Anderson. Thank you. Okay, here we go. The winner of Optimist raffle for free registration to our Louisville convention next year is Timothy Hicks and Michael Jeffrey. And you'll have to go to the office to pick that up, which is 221, those things. Thank you very much. And we have one more. We have the winner of the Expo game drawing is for Thomas Saraf. Thank you. And again, pick up that information at room 222, the Optimist office. And the winner of the club project display is Brenda McDonald from Central Ontario. Perfect. Congratulations to all the winners, and please pick up your certificate again at the Optimist International Convention Office on the second floor, room 221, immediately following this session. So thank you very much. So every year, the International Convention is held at a different city, each with its own charms and culture. So the music is going to start.
Rockabye, your baby, with a Dixie melody. When you cruise through the tune from that heart of Dixie, just hang that cradle, Mary mine, right on that Dixon line.
Ronnie Dunn. Is that you? Paula. Oh my goodness, how long has it been? Oh, I don't know. Way too long, though. What are you doing here in Indianapolis?
I'm here with Wayne. He joined the Louisville Optimist Club last year, and he's behind that door in a meeting to plan a convention next year with optimists from all over.
What a coincidence. Kent is in that meeting also. He's a member of the Indianapolis Club. He tells me that there are men here from Rochester, from New York, from Milwaukee, St. Louis, Denver, Chicago. I can't even remember all of the places.
Let me see. Washington, Peoria, Springfield, Baltimore, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Wayne talks about it all the time.
Kent does too. He enjoys it so much. He says that the clubs were formed to address the problems with delinquent boys. And of course, they really like their fellowship that they do with one another.
Course.
Yeah.
Hey, shall we eavesdrop to see what they're saying?
Let's do. Oh my God.
Did you hear that?
I did.
Oh my goodness, they're going to propose the name of the organization be Optimist International.
Wow. And their first convention is going to be in Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow. You know, this could lead to something very special, something that could make a major difference in our communities.
You know, maybe someday they'll let women join also. I mean, we have something to offer also.
Well, I certainly hope so.
I hope
so. But you know what? Let's talk about this convention next year in Louisville, Kentucky. I have known lots of great restaurants and wonderful places to visit.
Tell me more.
Okay,
let's go.
When this kid was 12, his bike was stolen. He learned to box with gloves like these. He floated like a butterfly and stung like a bee. Once he said, "If you ever dream of beating me, you'd better wake up and apologize." He was a champion in the ring, but his championship beyond the ring was what made him the greatest. He was so great, his hometown named a street, hung a huge poster the size of a building, and contributed to the center honoring his life and legacy. His hometown is here, Louisville. Louisville also has these museums: 21C Museum, Fraser History Museum, Kentucky Center for the Performing Arts, Kentucky Science Center, and the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory. Approximately this many home runs have been hit by the Louisville Slugger bat. All these museums, all conveniently on Main Street, are part of Museum Row. This is Whiskey Row, also on Main Street. Whiskey Row was home to bourbon distillers in the late 19th century and is now home to the Evan Williams Bourbon Experience, the first distillery on Whiskey Row since Prohibition. Whiskey Row houses dozens of restaurants and bars where bourbon flows like water. All bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. These are fine Kentucky bourbons. This is a foreign whiskey. If you need a passport, you can get one on the Urban Bourbon Trail. This guy, this girl, that older guy, those people, and this lady drink bourbon. But they don't just drink bourbon in Louisville, they eat it too. We put bourbon in our chocolate, in our grits, and on our steaks. Try pairing that yumminess with some of our local brews too. Beers brewed by guys with beards. Speaking of beards, the James Beard Foundation presents awards to the most talented chefs in the culinary game. All of these Louisville chefs have been in the running for one: Ed Lee, Anthony Lamas, and Kathy Carey. Among Louisville's culinary wonders, Benedictine is a local tradition. The cafe serves it on wheat with cucumbers, bacon, and lettuce, but it is best accompanied with another Kentucky signature, the mint julep. The mint julep is the official drink of the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, the Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Derby is so popular, they have a museum too. But it's more about the horses than the drink. But man, does that drink sound good. Know what else sounds good? My Morning Jacket. Before they were selling out mega shows here, here, and all over here, they started selling out shows from their hometown, here, here, and then here. We ain't just bluegrass and bourbon, but there's a festival for that. There's also the Humana Festival of New American Plays, the Kentucky Derby Festival, Abbey Road on the River, Lebowski Fest, and the Forecastle Festival for Music, Art, and Activism. From the summer concert series at Rye, to interactive installations at the local Speed, to the nightly ping pong exercises at Garage Bar, we're all about keeping it weird. Louisville is within a day's drive of half the nation's population. All you have to do is this. Once you get to the city, these pedals will take you across town to have a drink. Want even more of the great outdoors? These pedals will take you 100 plus miles around the city through Cherokee, Seneca, Iroquois, and Shawnee parks, all designed by Frederick L. Olmsted, the same guy that designed this park. That's not your kind of park? What about a 63-acre park that includes 50-plus coaster, family thrill, and wave rides called Kentucky Kingdom? Woohoo! Good ride! High five! That was created here. So was Happy Birthday, the Cheeseburger, and Moonshine University. Louisville has it all in one great place. Home to the greatest and all things that are great. Louisville.
And be sure you visit the Louisville Slugger Factory and Museum. And a cruise on the Belle of Louisville is a must.
Do you think they'll have the horses running at Churchill Downs?
Not sure, but you can always tour there.
You know, I am so grateful to President-designate Rebecca for inviting the two of us to be area co-hosts. Who would have thought 25, especially at such a special time, our 100th anniversary. It is such an exciting time for the organization. Who would have thought 25 years ago when the three of us were governors together that we'd be working together in this way today?
Yes, exciting. You know, we're going to need lots of help from both the Kentucky West Virginia District and the Indiana South District. Lots of great folks who want to work hard to give our members great memories from this special convention.
I know, Ronnie, and you know what? I know you've been recruiting. I know I've been recruiting for help. We've been working hard at it, right?
We have, and we have got an awesome team of people, and they're here with us today. You want to meet them? All right, bring them out. Come on, over here, over here. Come on to Louisville. We'll have a great time. Okay.
We hope to see everybody here at Louisville next year, so please put that on your bucket list so you don't miss out on a really good time. Thank you very much.
There's one other member of the Board of Directors whose term will end on September the 30th. Would you please give a big round of applause and appreciation to immediate past President Jim Kondrasik. Jim? Where are you, Jim? Jim, our organization is truly blessed having such a great example of a servant leader as you have displayed in the past and continue to display. On a personal note, I consider you both to be a dear friend, and thank you for everything you have done for me this year. Jim, on behalf of the Board of Directors, it is my honor to present you with a proclamation highlighting your service to the organization. Let me take a minute to read what it says. A tribute to Jim Kondrasik for his service to Optimist International. Whereas during these years, in the exercise of his sound and constructive judgment, he has greatly contributed to the functions and decisions and innovation of the Board of Directors, and whereas he has served in the most credible manner in many capacities within our organization, including as club member and president in the Southern Wisconsin District, governor of the Southern Wisconsin District, member and chair of the International Committees, vice president of Optimist International, international board member, president-elect of Optimist International, and in 2016-2017, president of Optimist International. And whereas his efforts in furthering the high ideals and objectives of Optimist International have been a constant source of inspiration to those who have been privileged to associate with him, and whereas his leadership and devotion have greatly contributed to the progress and achievement of Optimist International, therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the 2017-2018 Board of Directors of Optimist International, on behalf of all individual Optimist president, give you this scroll as a permanent record of our gratitude. Thank you, sir. Thank you, and it is signed by all the board members. Thank you. I guess we leave now, I think.
Hello, everyone. The 2018-19 district governors and vice presidents attended a weekend conference in January where we worked together on leadership skills, on making plans for this very exciting next year, and creating a great team spirit. I can assure you that this organization will be in very capable hands come October 1st. I would like to have you meet our 2018-19 international vice presidents, district governors, and their teammates at this time, and I invite my husband Mike to join me on stage.
Please welcome from the Northeast and Great Lakes region, International Vice President Cheryl Thames. From the Ohio District, Susan Armstrong and Rick. From Central Ontario, Denise Nassef and Tony. From Michigan, Ted Dotz and Gail. From Midwestern Ontario, Doris Hall. From New York, New England, Elise Canale and Michael Marshfield. From Southwestern Ontario, Cheryl Bolton and David. Please welcome now from the Southeast region, International Vice President Michael Goldman, Leah, and Shay Shay. And now, Michael Goldman, Leah, and Shay Shay. From Alabama, Mississippi, Deborah Merritt. From the Caribbean, Marcia Street Hendricks. From the Gateway District, Gwen Gable. From Louisiana, Lakita Jones. From North Florida, Elizabeth Jackson. The governors and vice president of the Southeast region. Please welcome from the Mid-Atlantic region, International Vice Presidents Stuart Mallard and Diane. From Atlantic Central, Robert Collier. From Capital, Virginia, Chester Grizzard Sr. and Barbara. From Kentucky, West Virginia, Gene Smith and Edwin. From Maryland, South Delaware, Tom Snyder. From North Carolina East, Linda Shepard and John. From North Carolina West, Daniel Mallard and Carly. Ladies and gentlemen, the leadership team of the Mid-Atlantic region. Please welcome from the Middle America region, International Vice President Jerry Barnett. From East Missouri, Mary Hatfield and Gary. From Kansas, Chris Kirks. From Illinois, Sandy Schmidt and Martin. From West Missouri, Larry Lynch and Debbie Hill. The 2018-2019 leadership team from the Middle America region. Please welcome now from the Great Plains region, International Vice President Edie Harris and Randy Trevors. From Alberta, Montana, Saskatchewan, and northern Wyoming, Eric Christian. From the Dakotas, Manitoba, and Minnesota, David Martin. From Iowa, Mark Thielman and Ann. From Nebraska, Burl Lentz. From southern Wisconsin, Maureen Crombie. Ladies and gentlemen, the leadership team from the Great Plains region. Please welcome from the Southwest region, International Vice President Paul Lucas and Alyssa. From Colorado, Wyoming, Linda McDonald and Ron Benson. From New Mexico, West Texas, Ivory Matthews III. From North Texas, Jill Rogers and Danny. From Oklahoma, Ron Whitaker. From South Texas, Beverly Oaks and Ron. From Tenark, Lynn Buford. Ladies and gentlemen, the Southwest region. Please welcome now from the West Coast region, International Vice President T.G. Thomas. From Arizona, Michael Toper and Julie. From California South, Diana Drummy. From Pacific Central, David Givens and Sharon Greer. From Pacific Northwest, Benjamin DeRemer. From Pacific Southeast, Roberta DiCollegiro and Robert. From Pacific Southwest, Kathy Hicks and Timothy.
Please welcome from the St. Lawrence region, de la région Saint-Laurent, le vice-président international Roch Daigle et Julie Latour. De l'Est de l'Ontario, Marc Roy. Du centre du Québec, Karine Tharien. De l'Est du Québec et Acadie, Charlotte Véraud et Bernard Labrec. De l'Est du Québec et Rive-Nord, Alain Simard et Ghislaine Otis. Du Sud du Québec, Florent Roy et Sylvie Coderre. De l'Ouest du Québec, Nancy Gagnon. And this was the St. Lawrence region, la région Saint-Laurent.
Hey, guys might want to turn my mic on. There we go. Was that fun? Thank you for your patience. Okay, we're going to try something here. Bear with me. Ami Optimist, je suis très honoré et enchanté d'être avec vous aujourd'hui et d'embarquer dans l'aventure pour l'année à venir. I'll try a little more. Je suis emballée de servir durant cet événement important et unique de notre 5e anniversaire. Nous avons la chance de célébrer notre histoire et de transmettre notre passion pour les années à venir. Merci beaucoup. You are very kind, but I wanted to try. So, Optimist friends, I am deeply honored and truly thrilled to be standing here today, embarking on this journey with you in the year to come. It is so exciting to serve during this unique and important milestone of our 100th anniversary. We have the chance to celebrate our history while we also convey our enthusiasm for the future. And for me, after waiting many years to say yes to this role, it's also the right time for my family. As many of you know, my husband Mike and I actually met through our Optimist Club, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. I was actually a charter member of an Optimist Club that was formed in 1989. And I was just a couple years out of college, and a college friend of mine called me and said, you know, I think you should come check this thing out. We are going to do some really neat things in the community. And I'd heard of the Optimist Club. We actually had one in my hometown, and my father had been a member when we lived in Omaha when I was very, very young. So I'd heard of the organization. So I went, and I checked it out, and I attended a few times, and I became a charter member. And as I shared with the president-elects earlier today, or yesterday, I was just planning to be on the board. I wasn't planning to be president. I had just taken a new job. And then, as luck would have it, right before our charter banquet, our president got transferred, and the next thing I knew, I was president. So that's how sometimes those things happen, but it was the best thing ever. So I served in that role, and I was lieutenant governor and membership chair in 1991 when Mike was a guest at an event we call a NOW program, a New Optimist Welcome. And apparently I said something to him like, and you will join, or so he says. And then we started running into each other everywhere. It turned out we lived 7 blocks away from each other, but we'd never met. And then we started running into each other at the grocery store and wherever, but he still hadn't joined. He came to a club meeting again, and then he called and left a message on my work answering machine and said, you know, I'd like to take you to lunch on Friday. I've still got some questions about the Optimist Club. And I said, well, you know, I have to do this because it's my duty, right? My responsibility. So that's what I call our first date and what he still calls the interview. So that's kind of our, so there you go. And then a couple years later, when I became governor of the Iowa district in 93, 94, Mike became our first man. So I'll share a little bit with you here. You can see him, I hope, on screen. And we also, had some nice times. And then shortly after that, when I became vice president in 1998, we actually got married as we kicked off that year on October 3rd. And we had planned it. We got engaged when I was vice president-elect, so we were able to coordinate the timing. We knew we wanted a fall wedding. We knew October would probably be a little bit of a crazy time to try and do it, but it still seemed right to us. So we got married October 3rd, went on our honeymoon, came back and had 5 district visits 5 weekends in a row. It was like an extended honeymoon, right? So, but it was a lot of fun. And as it turns out, as we kick off our centennial year this year in October, that will be our 20-year anniversary. So. And our children, Amanda and Alex, have grown up in the Optimist organization, joining us at many district and international events. And I've got a few pictures of some of those years here. Amanda is now 17 and headed into her senior year of high school, and Alex is 15 and will be a sophomore. And you can see here, Amanda was about 6 months old in that bottom picture there with Bob Garner. I'll tell you a story about that as well. They just started a new Junior Optimist Club at our school, and they just came from the last few days here attending the International Joy Convention this weekend, and they just had a fabulous time. I couldn't be more proud of the amazing young people that they've become, and some of you who are my Facebook friends know that because they always have a lot going on, and I'm kind of their biggest fan. So I hope you'll bear with me on that. I'm a little biased, but to me they're very, very special. Please join me in welcoming my family, Mike, Amanda, and Alex Mona. I just want to hug. You want to do should we go up? Okay. This way. You could come. Now you get to go relax. Thank you very much to all of you for the warm welcome here and wherever we go. And again, thank you, Mike, Amanda, and Alex, for your ongoing support and for making most of our family vacations around Optimist activities and all those kinds of things. So it's greatly appreciated, and I love you. Aww. Yeah. So as I talk about my family, I also would like to acknowledge my original family, and that's my parents, Rich and Joanne Butler, and my brother, Dan. They aren't able to be here with us this weekend, but I know they're watching via live stream in Red Oak, Iowa, where my mom lives, in Riverside, Iowa, where my brother lives, and in heaven, where I believe my dad is, and I am so grateful for all their love and support. I grew up in a small town called Red Oak, Iowa, and that's kind of a landmark there, our water tower and the pavilion, the Chautauqua Pavilion, and the beautiful fall that we always have there. Lots of typical downtown, small town Iowa, and for 25 years there, my parents had a Sears catalog store. That was my first job from the time I was in grade school, my brothers, from then all the way into college. We were surrounded, as many of you are, and especially in small communities, by caring people with a belief in hard work and in making a difference in the community. And my parents were always so proud and so supportive, and that was certainly the case when I became governor of the Iowa District of Optimist International. And one of my special memories is when I was home for Thanksgiving, the year that I was governor, one of our local newspapers asked if they could interview us. And I'm really grateful for this memory, and that's the picture from the paper. I know I haven't changed at all, right? So, that year, my parents were actually planning to come to my district convention, which was in Dubuque, Iowa, in August, and we were all really looking forward to it. And a huge amount of preparation, as you know, goes into that, and they were very excited to come and to be there and to support me. And that's kind of on the opposite end of the state. I grew up in southwest Iowa, Dubuque's in the northeast. It's probably a good 5-hour drive, kind of coast to coast, as we say. And as that week approached, I was also working on building a new club in a community that was about an hour away from where we live, called Pella. And I got home on the Tuesday night of the week of our convention, and we just had our organizational meeting. This was a 9-month effort, by the way. We kind of jokingly referred to it as kind of a natural birth, so to speak. You know, it took us 9 months to build this club, and I was so excited for it to come in that night. And I got home, and I had a message from my dad on the answering machine, but it was really late at night. It was about at least 11. And he said, you know, I was out to dinner with your mom tonight, and we were talking, and over dinner, we were talking about your convention this weekend, and we were thinking about what should we wear, you know, because we wanted, you know, want you to be proud of us. We don't want to embarrass you. I was thinking I'd wear my Navy suit and that tie that you gave me, and, you know, let me know what you think. And I thought, well, it's really late. I'll give him a call tomorrow. But at 6 o'clock the next morning, my mom called, and my dad was gone. He had a heart attack in the early hours of the morning. He was 54. And I tell you, that sounds younger every day. I don't know about you. But we were extremely close, and I knew that my dad would want me to be at my convention. So my brother and I drove to my hometown. We planned the funeral for Friday and kind of went through the motions and had the funeral, and I stayed totally composed until I got in the car, and Mike drove me coast to coast from Red Oak to Dubuque, and I think I cried the entire way. So that when I got to Dubuque and met with my convention chair, Dave Feifel, and my good friend and my uncle, as I call him, Carl McCarthy, past governor, sorry, didn't mean to hit the mic, and our international rep for the convention that weekend was past international president Ken Monsheen, and I will never forget what a wonderful person he was for us that weekend. And we had a great convention. But I will tell you that I didn't sweat any details, because when you go through something like that, it really puts things in perspective. And so I understood what was really important, and I knew that I could trust my team to handle the details, but I really wanted to be there for them and to help make sure we had the focus on our people and on our communities that we serve and all of those things that we wanted to make happen before the year was out. And we finished strong, had a great year because we had a great team. I am so proud of my mom and so grateful for her support. They were a great team. And after you've been in business together for 25 years, Sears closed all those stores about a year before my father passed away. and they had to figure out what they wanted to be when they grew up at about 52. So after Dad passed away, my mom became the secretary to the high school principal, and then the accounting manager at our local newspaper, and then she ran for county office and served for 2 terms as our county recorder. She has been there for basically every activity my kids have had, and both of my brother's 2 kids as well. We are incredibly grateful to have her in our lives. So that's my mom, Joanne Butler, with Amanda and Alex and my nephews, Nathan and Matt. This year, they were senior, junior, sophomore, freshman in high school. They're that close in age. So we're gonna have, as my mom says, a high school graduation starting this year, every year for the next 4 years, and then a college graduation, if all goes well, every year for the next 4 years after that. So anyway, just wanted to say my thanks to my family. Over the past nearly 30 years, Optimists have also become like family to me and also to my family, and we are blessed with truly countless dear friends. But there are a few that I really wanted to single out for some special thanks. From the Iowa district, this is a picture of our past governors at the time that I served as governor, and you'll also recognize past President Charlie Wiles standing in the back, because this is a tradition in our district. When the president visits, we always get a picture of the past governors. And if you're a past governor, you're wearing a green coat because it's a past governors association, the PGA, so they kind of took on that master's green jacket tradition. So there you go. But they're in front of me, and to one side is past Governor E. Ted Baker, and he and his wife Kathy served as governor the year that my club chartered as president, and they came and visited and so on. It's just been like a father and a mentor ever since. And on the other side is Ken Bassett, who was the field rep who organized our club and asked me right after I was president to serve as his lieutenant governor, and started me down the path by believing in me that I could do something more for the community and for the kids. And also, just one over and kind of in the middle right in front of Charlie is a slightly younger version of somebody who's here with us, and that's Carl McCarthy and his wife Carol, my Uncle Carl, as I call him, who's been an ongoing wonderful support and inspiration. And I thank them all. Sadly, some of the people in this picture are no longer with us, but they have been a constant set of support for me. There are also a couple of special friends I also want to single out, and that's Tom and Janet Lloyd. They're not in the picture because they served as governor after this. They do have those green coats, but they are some of my oldest and dearest friends from when I first joined our Optimist Club in 1989, and they've been my wranglers all this week trying to get me from point A to point B, so thank you guys very much. So I mentioned this gentleman earlier. Past International President Charlie Wiles was president the year I served as governor and was a tremendous inspiration. He had wonderful leadership training, he had great marketing savvy, and he's been a wonderful mentor ever since. Ken Monsheen, as I mentioned, was our international rep when I was governor and was just fabulous at a time that I really needed that extra support, and I couldn't be more appreciative. Jim Hubbard and his wife Sherry were the presidents when we served as vice president, and were just wonderful friends. And we were in a little bit unique situation. Ronnie Dunn and I both served that year. And you know, Sherry came up with a term that could be used to apply to, remember, we got married at the beginning of that year, but we were still engaged. So she came up with the term of VIP, very important partner, that I thought was beautiful, and I think many people have used it since then. She and her sister Terry also, at a time when Mike was going through cancer a few years later, and thankfully everything is great, but they sent cards to us and pictures of animals. Our kids were 18 months and 4 years old when we were going through that. I will never forget that kindness. And Bob Garner, and you saw him in a picture with Amanda earlier, so there he is with Mike. Let me just share a little bit of a story there. The year after I served as vice president, I was Constitution and Bylaws chair for Andre Dubois. And after that, I was at the convention in Reno, and Bob approached me, and he was coming in as president. And I was pregnant with Amanda and due in November. And I thought, well, I'll probably take this year off. And Bob's like, no, I need you to be my governance chair. It's going to be a bigger thing. It's really important, and I need you to do it. And I'm like, Bob, that committee usually meets in January. I'm going to be off work. I won't even be able to travel. So let's put this down as a lesson in creativity. Bob said, well, you know what? You don't have to meet in St. Louis or wherever. You could meet in, West Des Moines. Why not? And I thought, okay, because I'm doing an objection handling thing, right? I said, well, I need a really strong committee because I'm going to have to rely on. So he gave me Dave Gass, who served with me as vice president as an attorney, and a couple of young, up-and-coming past governors you might have heard of, Danny Rogers, Dave Bruns. It was a rock star committee. And speaking of that, when we got together for dinner, we had them come over to our house, save a little money, that kind of thing, but also host them. And we ended up also with our fabulous staff liaison, Dana Thomas, who's over here. We gathered around our piano and sang a little bit of Elton John, Billy Joel, Bohemian Rhapsody. All I can say is it's a really good thing. That was before the day of smartphones, because if anybody was recording that, I'm guessing that we probably didn't sound nearly as good as we thought we did. So there you go. But it was really appreciated. Yeah, thanks. To the governors that I've served with who have gone on to be past presidents, thank you for all of your guidance and leadership. That's Jim Kondrasik, Don Sievers, and Ronnie Dunn. It's been a blessing to know all of you, and I thank you very much, all of you. And there are a few I want to mention who came in a little bit later. Longtime friends that I met early in their careers who are also now past international presidents. I mentioned Danny Rogers and Jill, Ken Garner and Patsy, and Dave and Sean. We are so blessed, Mike and I and our children, to have all of you as role models, all of you committed to bringing out the best in youth, our communities, and ourselves into the next century. So I thank you very much. Please give them all a round of applause. Now, as President Nick and I shared with you yesterday, we are delighted to launch our centennial celebration here in Ottawa. It's such a special time for our great organization as we recognize our first 100 years and prepare for the next. We shared with you our vision for the organization, so it's growing in all the ways that matter, and our positive impact then will be fueled as well. We will also be looking to extend our outreach, the pride of our members, and the external recognition of our organization. And our mission is for the centennial to not only reflect back on our history, but to position us effectively for the future in all of those areas. Our theme and our logo of bringing out the best into the next century is intended to convey that positive impact for the next 100 years, and all of our plans to do even more in the coming century. My personal theme is Promise Yourself. And you will see that, I hope, as in keeping with our Optimist creed and our personal commitment that each of us should make to bring out the best in youth, our communities, and ourselves, which I believe is needed now more than ever. Our goals are around growth, to expand the impact of Optimist International through growth in our members and our clubs. Engagement and training, to strengthen our Optimist clubs and members by effectively involving our members in our clubs and developing them as leaders. Marketing, to raise the profile of Optimist International, our clubs as well, both internally and externally. And financial strength, to ensure sound financial budget management and reducing the reliance we have on club member dues to support our priorities. Now, to help us be successful in each of those areas, we have a series of plans and strategies that each of your governors have developed, and it'll be tailored to your own geographic areas. And I'm really excited about the work we have jointly underway and the opportunity to really make a major difference together. So I want to share with you a few more highlights, lots more to come. But here are a couple of things that I hope each of you could take part in. To help us involve our members, encourage growth, and share optimism with others, we'll have a special Centennial Promise Yourself Award. And as you can see, individuals can earn this unique pin, and I've got one on right here, by doing 3 simple things. Sponsor a member, participate in a club project, and submit your testimonial, your Optimist story. I encourage everybody to do that, strive for that, and really visibly show your Optimist pride. There will also be versions of this award for club presidents, lieutenant governors, governors, and vice presidents, based on achieving all those things personally, but on encouraging others to do the same. Now, you heard Nick and I describe the 3 special Centennial Awards that will be available starting now for 4th quarter of this year, as well as for all of 2018-19. So I'm not going to go over the requirements for that again, but you'll recall it was a Centennial Distinguished Club, also a Centennial Distinguished District, and a Special Centennial Builder of Excellence. And you can see on the slide here what those awards look like. Each of these is intended to encourage expansion of our service and our positive impact, both in our own communities and in some new communities. Now, we'll also have some fast start incentives to encourage clubs and districts to achieve their goals in the first half of the year. And if they do that, they will earn a special Centennial registration rate of only $100, so $100 for the Centennial, to our Louisville convention. Now, based on the fun stuff you saw that Ronnie and Paula were sharing here, we want to get as many people there as possible to share in that very special celebration. Now, these are all just ways I hope we can say thank you to our members, our clubs, and our volunteer leaders for the many things that you do to make a difference. My friends, we are part of a very special movement. We're focused on providing hope and positive vision and bringing out the best in youth, our communities, and ourselves for nearly 100 years. It is truly my honor to serve as president-elect of this organization during our centennial year, and I believe, as you've heard me say, that who we are and what we do as Optimists is more important and more needed than ever before. I ask you to think about your own involvement in your own local Optimist Club and what might be that special moment that tugs at your heartstrings when you recall some child that you helped. I just want to share with you an example of one of my own. Mike and I started a first LEGO League robotics team at our school a few years ago, and in this picture you can see Amanda and Alex were both on the team. It's Team Golden Platypi, that's the mascot in the front there, and it was sponsored by our Optimist Club. And these are for 9 to 14-year-old kids, and they're learning about the things that are really important from a STEM education perspective now. And it's been a great experience. We actually had some success with it. We took these kids to regional competitions, and they did well there and advanced to the state competition, and actually even earned a trophy, you know, at the very beginning, and have done well since. But what I wanted to share is, at the end of maybe the second year or so of our team, there was a boy on the team, his name is Carson, and this is Carson with Alex. This is one of our younger members, and his mom approached me at the year-end party and said, I just want to thank you and Mike for what you've done. I don't know if you know this, but Carson has a little bit of a learning disability. We had no idea. He was dyslexic, and she said he has a little trouble focusing. He struggles a bit in school. And he has really felt like this is a place where he could make his mark. And he can't even tell you how excited he was to come home and say, Mom, Coach Mike likes my idea. They're going to use my programming on the robot. And then when we went to state, he has cousins and older siblings who are really good athletes. But Carson's message to them was, you know, I know you're a really good basketball player, but are you going to state? Because we're going to state with our LEGO League team. So, just saying. But, and then a couple years, just this past year actually, with our children advanced beyond that age and no longer on the team, we decided it was a time to get some other people involved in coaching. We were going to try to move into a mentor role, and we were still struggling to find somebody to take on that role. And Carson's mom pretty much tackled Mike at the first football game to say, we have to have this team. You know, we can't let it not happen. It's so important. She became a coach for the team, and they went to state again. So you never know the difference you might make. This is an area we plan to put more focus on in the coming year, and we also plan to feature robotics in our Louisville Convention Expo Hall. And many people I've talked to this weekend have said this is the kind of thing they think is really important for our future. So I just want to share with you it's something we're exploring. And as we think about other ways that we can increase our impact in ways that really matter in today's society, I'd like to introduce you to a young woman I had the opportunity to meet in my Optimist travels this past fall at the Pacific Central District in Sacramento. Savannah Carmew is an 11-year-old author, social reformer, and future cardiologist who wants to help make children healthier and reduce childhood obesity with a focus on education for a happy heart. I'd like to share with you a short video about Savannah.
on a mission to help kids get heart healthy. The local girl making a big difference in the way her peers look at heart disease and childhood obesity.
That 2,000 people die every single day in just one day because of cardiovascular disease.
A South Sacramento girl is trying to combat childhood obesity 1 mile at a time. 11-year-old Savannah Carmew created Happy Heart Advices to help better educate people about heart health. New tonight, she's also kicked off a winter challenge in hopes of gaining a national audience.
Are you ready to go run?
You ready to go run?
Yeah.
All right, let's get ready.
Inspiration comes in small packages.
I'm gonna go.
And in the case of Savannah Carmew, with an enthusiasm that's as infectious as it is sobering.
2,000 people die every single day just because of one deadly disease, cardiovascular disease. And I didn't want to wait until I was a cardiologist to help people, and I wanted to start immediately.
At 9 years old, Savannah created Happy Hearts Advices, a nonprofit that raises awareness for childhood obesity. Now, at 11, she's taking her message a step further with the Happy Heart Winter Challenge, where she gathers sponsors to run a mile each day and posts informational videos online. She even gave us a glimpse into her kitchen for some heart-healthy food choices.
This here is our spinach, and it's really rich in fiber and iron, which is really good for your heart.
Last year, Savannah's work earned her the Unsung Hero Award at the state capitol. But perhaps her biggest impact, according to her father, has been at home.
Who made this?
We never thought twice about what we ate. But when it's amazing how much children will make you do things. It was Savannah who said, "Daddy, no more McDonald's."
A philanthropic spirit with a heart-healthy goal, improving lives in the capital city and beyond.
I love you. Good job.
Okay.
She's a great girl. If Savannah has you looking back at what you were doing perhaps at 11 years old, feeling like a little bit of an underachiever, she also has another accomplishment to add to her very long list, and that's author. She has already written a book about ways that you can get heart healthy. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, nice, right? So we're going to try something right now. With any luck, we're going to be joined by Savannah and her family by video. Can you guys give that a try? Savannah, yay! So I want to share a little bit more about Savannah, and I just wanted her to hear it. Okay, Savannah? And then I've got something special for you, and then I know we want to hear a little bit from you as well. So Savannah, as you might imagine from what you just saw, has inspired many, and she's also been recognized nationally. So just to name a couple of things, she's been named one of 8 kids who stole our hearts and blew our minds in 2017 by Red Tricycle, and one of the 17 most inspirational kids of 2017 by Reader's Digest. Today, yeah, you can cheer for that. I know the American Heart Association has also asked her to speak and so on, so this is pretty amazing for 11, just saying. Today, I am proud to present to Savannah our Optimist Positive Vision and Impact Award in recognition of her personal vision, her passionate leadership, and the clear impact that she is having on improving the health of children. I'm also happy to say that we are exploring how we can partner with Savannah and Optimist to expand her Happy Heart program and reach more children. So, please join me in congratulating Savannah, and this is what the award looks like. I don't know if they can zoom in with the camera, but I also wanted to invite to the stage Governor-elect of the Pacific Central District in Sacramento, from Sacramento himself, so he can bring this back and deliver it to you in person, David Givens, okay? Yeah, absolutely, you got it? So, can we do this where you can see Savannah too? I have an idea. Hang tight. Can you see it here or there? Yes? Okay, here. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so now that we've been able to actually share a little bit about Savannah from the video and from some of my comments, and now you can see the award. Hopefully you can see it, but you'll see it soon. I'd like to give Savannah, and I know she's surrounded by loving family, a minute or so to share some comments with this group, okay? Thank you, Savannah.
Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How's everyone doing today? I wish I could really be there in person, but it's just such an honor to be here with all of you guys today via technology. I'd first like to give a big thank you to Mr. Boyd for connecting with us and the technology so we can be here via Skype. I'd also like to give a big thank you to Ms. Rebecca Mona for connecting with us and just making this all possible. I'd also like to give a big thank you to Optimist International for considering the opportunity to partner with Happy Heart Advisors. Right now, it's just such a blessing to be here in front of all of you to share my story, and I just like to appreciate this opportunity and this blessing and this award given for me today, this day. Right now, I want everyone to put their hands over their chest like this. Do you feel that beat inside of you? When was the last time that you recognized that was beating inside of you every single second of your life, keeping your body alive? Did you know that 2,000 people die every single day because of heart disease? Since most people don't know much about their heart? Yes. The sad reality is that by the end of this day, 2,000 people would be dead because of this one deadly disease. This issue is so important to me because people are dying every single day rapidly because they don't know something as simple as their own heart beating inside of them. The scary thing is that this number is determined to grow higher because of one major risk factor here: childhood obesity. The good news is that I have created tools for Happy Heart Advisors to engage children and families to take more interest in their hearts. Right now, my team and I are taking even more measures to bring more awareness about the heart. By the year 2031, the year I graduate medical school by God's grace, we want the number of kids that are obese to cut in half. That is our goal, and we are taking ecstatic measures to make sure that this happens. I'd like to thank the Optimist International again for considering the opportunity to partner with Happy Heart Advisors. This partnership is so crucial to Happy Heart Advisors and to everyone because we will have the opportunity to attack childhood obesity on a new level. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to be here in front of all of you today. Even though I wasn't here in person, I really wanted to be here in person. It's just such a blessing to speak in front of all of you guys today and to just share my story. Thank you again.
Savannah, can you see that you're getting a standing ovation? Yeah? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're such an inspiration. We really appreciate it. And I know that it isn't, sometimes it's hard to hear, but I'm so glad that we could make that work and allow her to share that message personally with you. And she was surrounded by many, many family members, as you saw. So, and thanks for the excitement. Now, yes. I'm just going to go off script here for just a minute and share something else that I think is timely. Just a couple of days ago in our Optimist International Board of Directors meeting, we voted as a board to expand the focus that we have had for many years on childhood cancer, which is very, very close to many of our hearts, but to expand that to include a focus on childhood health and wellness, more broadly, still including cancer, but not limited to that. So you can imagine when there are issues like what you heard Savannah talk about, we will be in a better position as an organization and with the support of our foundations going forward to be able to do some things there that I know many of you are trying to do in your community. So I just want to make you aware of that. It's very timely. Now, each of us has traveled, some from great distances, to arrive here in Ottawa. And in my recent Optimist travels, I've come to this idea that the journey is really a very good way to think about who we are and what we do as optimists. Our time on this earth is really a journey, and what we do to make a difference along the way before our ultimate destination is something that really matters, not only to us, but also to others. Each of us has the opportunity to truly make an impact. And I'd just like to share a favorite story with you, one that perhaps you've heard, but maybe it's your favorite as well. Many years ago, there was an old man walking along a beach. I think it was a Canadian shoreline somewhere. And as he was walking along, he saw a shadowy figure in the distance, but he wasn't quite sure he could make it out. But as he approached, he realized it was a little boy, and the little boy was throwing something. He approached him and said, "Young man, what are you doing?" He said, "Well, sir, the tide washed up and left all these starfish stranded here on the beach, and if I don't throw them back, they'll die." And the man looked up and down the beach and saw how it was just littered with starfish and said, "Young man, there are hundreds, thousands, maybe even more starfish here on this beach. How can you possibly hope to make a difference?" And the little boy just reached down, calmly picked up another starfish, turned and threw it into the ocean, and looked at the old man and said, "It made a difference to that one." Well, yeah. And as I like to tell that story, the man continued to walk along, but he could not take that little boy out of his mind, and he ended up turning around, going back, and helping him continue to throw those starfish back into the ocean. And I share that with you because I don't think we can ever underestimate the impact that we have on one child, your Carson, whoever that might be. But when you help someone else, and you know the best form of leadership is what you do, not what you say, you might just inspire someone else to do the same. So I'd ask you to think about that. Now, the next time that many of us are together will be a year from now in Louisville, Kentucky. And that is a very special place to me for a lot of reasons. Now, obviously, Louisville is the home of our first Optimist International Convention in 1919, and it's totally amazing that we're all going back there to celebrate our Optimist centennial in 2019. But in addition, Louisville is a special place to me personally. Our 75th anniversary celebration was held there when I was governor-elect in 1993. It's also memorable in my family. My dad always loved horses, and by the way, he would have loved the RCMP musical ride today. That was amazing. As a child growing up, we had a couple of horses, and we also had, cousins who had farms, and we rode horses there. When I was 9 or 10 years old, we drove to Kentucky to visit friends from our hometown that had moved there, and we went to Churchill Downs, and that was quite a trip for our little family. By the way, I flipped past there, Savannah. We're catching up. There we are, Churchill Downs. Many years later, when our Optimist International Convention was in Cincinnati, we drove with our family, and we stopped in Louisville because we wanted to take the kids to Churchill Downs. And when we drove into the parking lot, we looked up and we saw this big horse being led across the parking lot with a little horse by its side. And we thought, well, that was kind of cool, so I just had the presence of mind to snap a picture. I thought, that's kind of neat. And then we went inside, and we were told there's a video of every Kentucky Derby ever run, and we just completed the 144th running, right? For those from Louisville, that's right? 144, yeah? And the man at the counter, he's guiding us around. By the way, if you didn't make the connection, let me just make a quick point. We're coming up to Louisville. Did you notice the colorful jackets that every region had on, but they matched? That's our racing silks, okay? There you go. So, they're not as colorful as these racing silks, but, that was the idea. And we also supported the local economy a bit. You know, the kids had to have each of their own little horses. And of course, I had to get a hat, which I brought, because when in Churchill Downs, one must. And the man at the counter said, you should watch the race from the year you were born, because with 144 races or whatever, pretty much all of us who are alive on Earth had a race run the year we were born. So we did that. And then he said, you should watch 2009. We didn't know why, but we said, all right. He suggested we watch 2009, so we did. So let me share with you now that 2009 Kentucky Derby, if you guys would please start
$1 million at stake as Pioneer of the Nile enters the starting gate. Frisian Fire is still the favorite at 7-2. Pioneer of the Nile now being backed out and then goes back in with Garrett Gomez.
No. That's it. Just like that.
There's number 18, Nowhere to Hide.
Just like that.
And now for the call of the 135th Kentucky Derby. Let's go atop the stands and join Tom Durkin.
And there is Desert Party breaking from that post position number 18. Last to load will be Flying Private. Much of the speed here is going to be coming from the middle of the gate. Joining the dance, Papa Clem, Regal Ransom. Frisian Fire's got some early speed too. In the gate. And they're off in the Kentucky Derby. And it's Joining the Dancers racing for the lead. Musket Man has some early speed on the inside. Here's Regal Ransom with some speed as well. Beneath the Twin Spires the first time. Regal Ransom and Joining the Dance will vie for the early lead. Pioneer of the Nile is right up there. And then it's Papa Clem down toward the inside. He's now fourth. Desert Party forwardly placed fifth on the outside. Flying Private is sixth. Frisian Fire in and among horses is now seventh. Musket Man is eighth. Dunkirk is ninth on the outside. Then farther back down on the rail, that is Atomic Rain, running in the 11th position, 2 lengths back. And General Quarters is now 12th. Nowhere to Hide is 13th on the outside. Westside Bernie is now down toward the rail. And then on the outside, at the back of the pack, beginning to move up now, is Hold Me Back. Advice is also right there toward the back of the pack, along with Chocolate Candy, Summer Bird. Advice, the last of them all, is Mr. Hot Stuff. So down the back stretch run, or even well behind the rest of them, is Mind That Bird. So down the back stretch run and Joining the Dance. An impudent long shot leader here, 50-1, taking the field through an opening half mile that was strong, 47 1/5 seconds. Regal Ransom is third. On the outside, Pioneer of the Nile. Now Garrett Gomez asking him for a bit more. He's right there. Third on the outside, Desert Party is now fourth. Hold Me Back fifth toward the inside. Papa Clem threads his way through horses. From sixth now, Musket Man is now seventh. Chocolate Candy is beginning to come alive now, and he's eighth on the outside. Then down toward the rail, it's Advice as the field turns for home. Top of the stretch, it's still Joining the Dance with a tenuous lead. Regal Ransom and Pioneer of the Nile strikes the front just outside the 8th hole. Musket Man is coming hard down the center of the track, and Papa Clem's right there too. Down toward the inside, coming on through. That is Mind That Bird now is coming on to take the lead as they come down to the finish. And a spectacular upset. Mind That Bird has won the Kentucky Derby. An impossible result here.
So, just in case you couldn't hear some of the words, let me just play a couple out. Mind That Bird, a spectacular finish from dead last to first. Impossible, they called it. The longest odds at 50-1 in 85 years, and the biggest margin of victory in 60+ years. Very exciting, right? Now, as Paul Harvey used to say, here's the rest of the story. That horse I told you about in the parking lot, that was Mind That Bird. And that little gray horse with him, that's his travel buddy and companion, Winston. We were so excited, especially our kids, to meet the celebrity horse. And I actually took these pictures. They were out running around in the paddock right next to where we were having lunch. And we're like, this is amazing. What a great story. And I wanted to share it with you, because as we all head into the centennial year and our run for the roses, leading to Louisville and beyond, let's set high goals. And whether you're like Secretariat or this year's Justify, who won the Triple Crown, pretty awesome, They ran races where they were so far out in front that no one thought they could possibly keep up that pace, and maybe that's you. Or whether you're like Mind That Bird, with long odds and starting out closer to the back of the pack. You can achieve your goals if you have the commitment and the heart, and you surround yourself with a good team, your own Winston. My friends, we have each taken on a very special leadership role as Optimists in this upcoming 2018-19 year, and we have a wonderful opportunity, and I would say a responsibility, to leave our clubs, our districts, our members, our entire organization, and more importantly, our communities, a much better place following our service. This is about bringing out the best and truly preparing us for the next century of Optimist impact. And I ask each of you to promise yourself to bring your personal best to everything you do, to bring out the best in your teams, in your communities, and in each other. And you have my promise to do exactly that. I look forward to our centennial year ahead, and my thanks to each of you. Je t'aime, merci beaucoup. Thank you all. And now I would like to invite President Nick to join me on the stage. Thank you very much. President Nick, without a doubt, the past 9 months have been a breathtaking whirlwind of experiences for you, filled with making new Optimist friends and seeing firsthand what a difference all of our clubs are making in the lives of children. And as Optimist members, we all appreciate so much everything that you do, what you've done, what you'll continue to do. And I personally found you incredibly inspiring. I know everyone else has too. Please just... As a token of the Optimist International appreciation for that fabulous leadership, and by your request, this year it gives me great pleasure to announce that in President Nick's honor, we will be making a $500 donation to the Optimist Club that demonstrates outstanding performance and the highest growth in 2017-18.
Thank you so much.
There you go. And the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rebecca. It will be my honor to send a $500 check to an Optimist Club that qualifies to have its name on this check, and we'll also send them a real check for $500. As we know, Optimist International is an association of individual Optimist clubs. Our strength as an organization is dependent on the strength of each of these clubs. Each year we honor local Optimist clubs who have met certain standards for community service, membership development, club growth, increased community awareness, and club sponsorship. This year we have 4 clubs who have met those standards and are finalists for our Optimist Club of the Year. As I announce the club names, if a representative would please come to the stage as we have a certificate and a patch for you. The finalists for the Optimist Club of the Year award are the Boardman Optimist Club of Ohio, the Golden Circle Optimist Club of Wilson, North Carolina, the Riverside Optimist Club of Ontario, the Optimist Club of Port Stanley, Ontario, the Lambton Central Patrolla Optimist Club of Ontario, the Sawney-Cumming Optimist Club of Georgia, the Searcy, Arkansas Optimist Club, and the Two Rivers Optimist Club of Wisconsin. Uh-oh, we're running short on some.
No kiss? I'll take the kiss.
Thank you. We pretend. Thank you. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you. From those 8 outstanding Optimist Club, it is my privilege to announce this year's Optimist Club of the Year, the Riverside Optimist Club of Ontario.
Thank you.
Thank you. They also get a free registration to the Louisville Convention. Congratulations and thank you for your service. You may return to your seats, please. I think we're going to have a visit from a very special individual here in just a moment. Captain ICANN.
Hi. Optimist International. I want you to stand and give a round of applause to this organization for 100 years. The annual convention. Going strong. This organization has nowhere to go but getting better and better and better. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's because of you and others in your country and your region why you can still celebrate. We just want to tell you this. Remember, continue to be optimist strong. Not from the head, but from the heart. Put your heart in it. You have to transform this world. You have to remember this. You have to give the children hope. You have to show them love. You have to give them the faith to believe, to go forward. With you, the vision of this organization is in your hands. What you do with it, it's up to you. I am also here as Captain ICANN to be a part of your vision. Wherever you call, I can be there. Yes, I see the smiles on kids' face when I tell them that they can be strong. When I tell them to have hope and have faith, I see that same smile on your faces throughout this convention. I have been having a great time seeing your smiles, and it's wonderful. I'm going to do this song for you. It says, Blast Off. I did it the other night And person said they want to hear it again. So we're going to do, and we're saying to you, blast off into your future. Blast off into your dreams. Never give up. Your dreams and goals are never too big. Woo! Woo!
Blast off, ain't gonna waste no time. Blast off. Stop procrastinating, blast off, keep your goals in sight. Blast off, just do it.
You wake up in the morning, don't know how your day is going. You know you should be praying because your future's in the making. Instead you feel like crying from all the things you're feeling. Now is the time to break through. Get up, this is what you gotta do. Just blast off.
Ain't gonna waste no time. Blast off. Stop procrastinating, blast off, keep your goals in sight. Blast off, just do it.
You got good dreams in your head, write them down with a pen. No matter what you're thinking, you can conquer any mountain. You're going on a mission, don't let fear blur your vision. Step out in strength and power positively every hour.
Just blast off, ain't gonna waste no time.
Blast off.
Stop procrastinating, blast off, keep your goals in sight.
Blast off,
just do it. Wait, blast off? Captain Icahn, are we going out of space?
Yes, Mrs. Sunshine. If your dream is to go out of space, yes you can, as often as you can. Talk to God. He's the maker of the universe, the heavens and the earth. He's the one who gives you life, strength and power. Whatever your dream is, write it down. Be optimist strong. Keep going. Remember, you will hear negative words, but don't look at that. Keep focused. You can move from a 0 to a hero with 100%. So just do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Ain't gonna waste no time. Blast off. Stop procrastinating. Blast off.
Keep your goals in sight.
Blast off. Just do it. Blast off.
That house you want to build.
Blast off.
That dream you need to pursue.
Blast off.
Those lives you need to impact.
Blast off.
That book you need to write.
Blast off.
The world is waiting on you.
Blast off.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Blast off. Ain't gonna waste no time. Blast off. Stop procrastinating. Blast off.
Keep your goals in sight.
Blast off. Just do it. You got good dreams in your head. Write them down with a pen. No matter what you're thinking, you can conquer any mountain. You're going on a mission. Don't let fear blur your vision. Step out in strength and power
positively every hour.
Just blast off.
Ain't gonna waste no time.
Blast off. Stop procrastinating. Blast off.
Keep your goals in sight.
Blast off. Just do it. Blast off. Be optimist strong.
Blast off.
Don't give up.
Blast off.
You can change the world.
Blast off.
Yes, you can.
Blast off.
Reach all the youths you can.
Blast off.
Change it and be optimist strong.
Blast off.
Don't give up.
Blast off.
Woo! Blast off. Ain't gonna waste no time. Blast off.
Stop procrastinating.
Blast off.
Keep your goals in sight.
Blast off. Just do it. Woo! Blast off. Just do it. Say, I can.
I can.
I will. Never give up. Woo! Thank you. Thank you, President.
Small token of our appreciation for your service and helping us celebrate our 100th convention.
Thank you very
so
much.
much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go just a little bit off script. I know the people in the back are probably freaking out about right now, but I wanted to just take just a moment. You know, when you have a job like this, a position like this, sometime in all the hustle and the bustle and the running around and trying to do everything and be all organized, you sometimes forget about those who brought you here. You men and women, you optimists. So I want to take just a few moments to thank you for allowing Dottie and I to serve as me as your president and her your first lady. It's been a great ride. We're not done yet, but I want to thank you for everything you've done. All the great work and the service and the growth that we're experiencing right now is all because of you. When we started this year, I sat down with my VPs and I sat down with the staff and I sat down with my governors and I said, what is it going to take for this organization to move forward and to grow? And we came up with a plan. And I'd like to say that at this moment, our plan is perfect. We've done every single quarter, we have either exceeded or met our new club building goals. We're on track to, for the first time in a long time, end our year as a positive in growth. Now, you may not think that's a big thing, but to me, it's an unbelievable thing. Now, you know, over the years, our membership has dwindled. And every year in January, we go out to California and we have this summit between Rotary, Lions, the Optimist, and the Kiwanis. And, you know, and I'll be very honestly, when I went there, I was a little intimidated because, you know, I'm sitting in a room with leaders that have over, 1.3 million. I mean, they have all these members, and I'm sitting there. But things didn't really sound so well there. They kept talking about they can't grow. You know, they talk about it, we're bringing them in as fast as they're going out the back door. And I didn't say anything because I believe that this organization could grow. I believe that Optimist International can be the #1 organization. And that's what we're can do this year. But I have to have your help. This is not a one-man show. This is our show. This is our moment. And we're proving it that we can grow this organization. And I believe that if we finish this year only +1, you can put as many zeros behind it as you care to, but I want us to be +1. I think it would send a message through all volunteer organizations. And I'm out to prove that. My team is out to prove that. And I think we can certainly do that, but I got to have your help. You know, back where I come from, and I know people who are in football and all that kind of stuff going to poo-poo when I say, because I'm not a real big football fan, but I come from SEC country. And then where I come from, there's the Georgia Bulldogs. And then one of the things that, there's a battle cry that we have there when things start getting tough and we're getting up against the hot pipes, so to speak. And it's a legendary thing. I won't go into all the details, but it happened when we were playing for our national championship back in the early 80s when the great Herschel Walker was a running back for us. And we weren't supposed to have that good a year because our coach never played freshman, and we were playing Tennessee, and things weren't going so well. He put Herschel Walker in, and we know what happened then. I mean, this young man started running over everybody. And the next thing you know, we're up for the national championship. But we had only one obstacle to get by, and that obstacle was the University of Florida, the terrible Gators. And if you remember that game, in that game, things were not going too well for Georgia. And everybody was walking around, everybody was worried because Georgia was losing. We were losing, we were behind in the game. And everybody knew we were in the fourth quarter, things were, Florida had the ball, they were moving down the field, and we knew that if we didn't stop them, if we didn't put our foot down, it was all over. National championship, everything was gone. Now, I wasn't there. I was glued to my TV set, like everybody else, biting my fingernails, hoping for a miracle. And supposedly what happened when the defense came up to the line, it was a third down play. We had to stop them. The defense, you could see they were tired. They came up to the line, And supposedly some fan out there out of the crowd yelled out, "Hunker down, you hairy dogs, hunker down." And the defense stiffened up, and they stopped Florida. We got the ball, then of course the famous Buck Bellew pass to Lindsey Scott. We win the football game, go on to win the national championship. Well, folks, I want a national championship. We can win that national championship. We're in the fourth quarter, and guess what? We're not very far down. Only about minus 700 and something. So what I need you to do is I need you to hunker down. I need you to reach down and pull up those bootstraps, and let's take this thing home. Let's make this organization plus in membership this year. Let's send a message to the volunteer world that organizations like ours, and particularly the Optimist organization, we can grow and we can make this happen. So I thank you for that. I thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you. Now, I have just a couple more remarks, and I promise I know we want to go start partying, and I promise it's going to be fairly short here. You know, I've been involved in Optimist International for over 3 decades. When I joined this organization, I was promised that if I would give just a little bit of my time, Optimist International would make me a better person. In all my years of service, I know I'm still a work in progress, but you never gave up on me. Oh, there have been missteps, disappointments, and failures, but I've been welcome to be one of you, to lead you, to stand in this pantheon of heroes. I've enjoyed many wonderful experiences, and I've met some and become good friends with some extraordinary people. I've been blessed with numerous opportunities to grow, learn, and to reach pinnacles never dreamed of. I've been taught many lessons, and over the next few minutes, I'd like to share with you some of the things I've learned during my Optimist journey. I've learned that the smile of a child makes it all worthwhile. I've learned it's those small daily happenings that make life so spectacular. I've learned it's not what you have in your life, but who you have in your life that counts. I've learned that good friends are rare jewels of life, difficult to find and impossible to replace. I've learned that people may forget what you said and they may forget what you did, but people will never, ever forget how you made them feel. I've learned that either you control your attitude or it controls you. I've learned that I am responsible for what I do no matter how I feel. I've learned that in our daily lives, it is not happiness that makes us grateful, but gratefulness that makes us happy. There is always, always something to be thankful for. I've learned about me telling someone, "You've made my day," can make their day. I've learned that you cannot unsay a cruel word. I've learned that being kind is more important than being right. I've learned that when you harbor bitterness, happiness will dock elsewhere. I've learned that sometimes all a person needs is a hand to hold and a heart to understand. I've learned that everyone I meet deserves to be greeted with a smile. I've learned that life is tough, but I'm tougher. I've learned to be thankful for what I am now and keep fighting for what I want to be tomorrow. I've learned that winners are not people who never fail, but people who never quit. I've learned that we have 2 lives, the one we learn with and the one we live with after. I've learned that the life you live is the lesson you teach. I've learned that mistakes are proof that you're trying. I've learned that there's a hero residing in every heart. I've learned that a smile is an inexpensive way to improve my looks. I've learned that I should always keep my words both soft and tender because tomorrow I might have to eat them. I've learned that the easiest way for me to grow as a person is to surround myself with people smarter than I am, people like you. I've learned that the biggest troublemaker I'll probably ever have to deal with watches me from the mirror every morning. I've learned to forgive my enemies. It's the right thing to do, and it messes with their head. I've learned that you get the best out of others when you give the best of yourself. I've learned that two people can look at the same thing and see something totally different. I've learned that everyone wants to be appreciated and cared about. I've learned that when you really care about someone or something, it shows. I've learned that everyone wants to stand on the top of the mountain, but all the happiness and growth occurs while you're climbing it. I've learned that choosing to live a life that matters makes a difference in someone else's. And last, I've learned that in the heart of darkness a light shines, the light of optimism. Remember, feel the need, plant the seed, do the deed, and live the creed. Thank you. Thank you. Before we close the business of this convention, let's renew our commitment to our belief in optimism by reciting the Optimist Creed together. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something in them, to the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile, to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others, to be large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for attending this convention. I hope you have found it to be both worthwhile. Have a safe trip home. I now declare the 100th Annual Convention adjourned.
I don't know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Hanging on the promises and the songs of yesterday, and I've made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time. Here I go again. Here I go again. Though I keep searching for an answer, I never seem to find what I'm looking for. Lord, I pray you give me strength to carry on, 'cause I know it means to walk